So let's get to the quarterback carousel that's been going on so far. I think the NFL quarterback is turning into the NBA max player.
Yeah, looking that way.
Like we actually got some movement in the off season. So the biggest one in the room, Deshaun Watson. Where the hell do you think he's going?
I mean, it looks like he's staying put for the time being. I mean, it could just be a game of chicken with the front office. Part of you as a fan wants them to do it. Wants you to be like, hey, stop forcing your way out. We want like the fans in Houston probably want you to stay, and it's going to suck for them to see you leave. But at the same time, like I don't blame them for wanting to get out of a terrible organization, a terrible situation, a place where he just saw his former head coach slash GM for whatever reason trade the best receiver in the NFL for a broken down running back and like a second round pick or something. I just I don't blame Deshaun Watson, but it looks like the new owners or the new power structures trying desperately to change this. Although they're doing everything except for exactly what Watson asked is to keep him in mind and interview Eric Bieniemy, I believe. Like I think that was his one ask, and that's why he's so pissed off. And they didn't even interview him, which is weird because like all you have to do to interview somebody now is click a Zoom link, and they couldn't even do that.
So from what I heard, and I don't remember where I heard it at, but I heard it somewhere. Somewhere credible ish. It was a national show. They were talking about the Bieniemy thing, and apparently Bieniemy did not want. Bieniemy wanted to have a FaceTime conversation with Deshaun Watson before taking the interview.
Okay.
They only interviewed him once the trade request became a thing. You know what I find crazy? Not crazy. You know what I find unfortunate, and it's kind of sickening?
Mm-hmm.
That Carson Wentz and Deshaun Watson are being covered totally opposite. But Carson Wentz damn near turned his back on his team during the season once he lost his job. Deshaun Watson played through the entire season, waits to the end of the season, and it's like, hey, you guys are dysfunctional. You said you're going to keep me in the loop on the GM and the coaching hires. You didn't. And now I want to leave. So now Deshaun Watson is demanding out. And Brett Favre is coming in and saying, hey, you get paid a lot of money, boy. Just shut up and throw the ball like I did. Yeah, right, Brett. We know what you did. And Carson Wentz is just trying to get out of Philadelphia because they lost faith in him because he fucking sucked last year.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you're talking about the national media, the way they're covering him. Because as fans, and especially as a fan of the Eagles, I hate the way Carson Wentz has done this. I mean, apparently the reports came out that he was uncoachable. He wouldn't listen to criticism or coaching. He was checking plays of the line that Doug Peterson called almost to spite him, I guess was the report. Now some of this could be the words of a journalist as opposed to what actually happened. But like even stuff came out last year about him not being a great leader or not being a great teammate, and then more stuff came out about players at the end of the year just being like, this guy put out like I guess a statement about like maybe he doesn't want to be here, but like we got like a couple games left. Like what is this guy thinking? The moment he gets benched, he quits. He wants to take his ball and go home. Like that's not the spirit of an athlete. Don't you want to fight for your job back? It seemed like the owner wanted to give him a chance at getting his job back by firing the head coach, obviously. And I think that that's what Jeffrey Lurie meant to do, is kind of give him a new head coach to give him a new start, but he didn't want it anyway. I think it's like, how could you root for Carson Wentz at this point? Like he doesn't get what he wants, so he wants to leave. And I think that the national media can say one thing, but like, I mean, I don't blame Deshaun Watson. That's a terrible situation. It's just awful. And as much as the Eagles have lost the last year, we weren't a very well coached team. That team apparently has coddled him since the moment he came in there. They gave him every advantage. And yes, it sucks that you got to come into work every day and see a statue of the guy that replaced you and won the Super Bowl, and legends of his genitalia are still wandering throughout the city. But I mean, it just seems like he is a weak constitution. We'll put it that way.
Yeah, I wouldn't want him on my team. I wouldn't want him in my locker room. Um,
Mainly that part. Mainly
yeah,
that last part.
yeah. I mean, great talent, but who gives a damn when you're toxic, when you're choosing favorites, when your team doesn't believe in you, they don't trust in you to make the best decisions for the team to win, and everyone has to coddle you like you're a first round fucking point guard who's never it's really becoming like so close to basketball culture, man. But
It
for the
is.
other quarterbacks on the move, man, we got Goff for Matt Stafford. Does Matt Stafford finally unlock McVay's offense and get the neck beard their first Super Bowl?
I mean, it's kind of his chance to prove to everyone that he was the good QB in a bad situation. Because I think a lot of people love this trade for the Rams. It's like, oh yeah, now Matt Stafford finally gets a chance to shine. But like, there's also a chance that he is just a slightly above average QB. He is Matt Ryan, but maybe that works because I think Goff was pretty limited, and I think Sean McVay's opinion on that. I think you could find a bunch of stuff everywhere, whether it's uh, people trying to say that Troy Aikman was his source of speaking into the media or whatever ridiculous stuff that was. But it seemed like Sean McVay, his own head coach and an offensive genius, we can proclaim him, whether his the rest of the people trying to emulate him are or not. But he's definitely a good offensive coach, and he wanted to bench Goff for some guy named John Wofford. Is that his name?
Sure.
Wolford? Wofford? He wanted to bench him for him at the end of the year, and broken thumb is one thing, but we saw once he got in the game that he could have got it out. He still could have played. It just I think it's one of those things where his support system gave up on him, and if you got him in the building for what 4 years and you still want to get rid of him, I don't have much faith in him either.
Yeah,
So we'll see.
I think the Rams won that trade. The benefit for Detroit is the draft picks and Jared Goff. He is what he is. So recently, it came out that Russell Wilson's not happy.
I did see that. He did
Uh,
that previously because he wanted a new contract, but I wonder what the motivation behind it this time is.
I think it's the same. It's the similar motivation from the new contract because I think he wanted a new contract, but he really wanted to leave, and he settled for the new contract. There's been talks that his wife Sierra is not a fan of living in Seattle.
Oh man.
It's bad for her celebrity. But also, Russ has been sacked more than any other quarterback during his time in the league, and it's not close. So he said he just wants more protection. He's tired of getting beat up. And you've heard players come out and say whether it's DK Metcalf or Tyler Lockett, they don't like the way the offense is being called. You know, it's run, pass, run, pass, run, pass. And don't get me wrong, they unlocked Russ early in the year, and then he started throwing some interceptions, and Pete Carroll went back to what Pete Carroll knew and what's worked for Pete Carroll. But Pete Carroll, that has not won you a Super Bowl since 2014, 15 when you won your one. It's been a long time. So maybe the adjustment needs to be with their front office. Maybe they should, draft a lineman in the first round as opposed to Rashad Penny, who was not great as a first round running back and has not been a steal of the draft by any means.
And you're rooting for the San Diego State people. Like we got to root for them.
I used to play basketball with him. Like, yeah, I was rooting for this guy. I was like really happy for him. You know, so it's just one of those things, man. Like, do you appease the quarterback or do you let him go? I mean, Aaron Rodgers isn't happy now either.
Yeah, well, I think it's you're right. It is becoming like basketball in the fact that you don't know in this case you do know that you already paid him, so it can't be the money. But there's a couple of motivations. It's either he wants more money, he wants to be shown that they believe in him, he wants more help, he wants another superstar. It's the trade for Paul George. That's the only way I'm going here, kind of equivalent, or it's the I've been here so long, we haven't won anything, and this isn't a major city in terms of it's not Los Angeles, it's not Miami, it's not, I don't know. I mean, Seattle seems like a pretty thriving market, but I mean, it's It's
Russ
not
and
a
Sierra don't seem like Seattle.
what's up?
Russ and Sierra do not seem like Seattle, though.
Well, yeah, I guess so. It's one of those things where like there's a couple motivations, and this one seems maybe location based, absolutely, but also the fact that like they haven't really been a true Super Bowl contender by the end of the year in a while. Like they've been one of those teams where it's like I could see them winning a playoff game or two, but like when's the last time they were a number one seed? I mean, back when the Legion of Boom was still around. So it's like maybe he's just frustrated that his team isn't very good anymore.
Yeah, I just hope they get it figured out. Do you think the Jets keep Darnold?
Uh that's another place where it's like maybe a change of scenery would do him good. I kind of just want to see him in another team's colors, just to see if there's any ounce of actual talent in him. We've seen him make off schedule plays. You saw that highlight against I think it the Broncos. He juked the hell out of two people. Like
Yeah,
he's definitely an athlete. Um, but I haven't seen him play a primetime game where he showed up or beaten a good team. So you almost just want to get him out of there just to see if he can do anything on a real organization. How about you?
I don't know, and I think because there's a new regime coming that they could keep Darnold, move the number 2 pick, and get a fucking load back and really build up a roster around him. But my fear is that his confidence is so shot that he may not be the guy that he came into the league as.
Seeing
But
ghosts?
again, yeah, but again, Adam Gase was his coach. So, 2 years removed from Adam Gase, he could be he could be a Pro Bowl quarterback like my man Tannehill. So we got to see. What about Jimmy G?
I mean, I think that we kind of I feel like a lot of it is that whole hindsight deal where it's like in the moment, oh, he's pretty good, and then the moment he has a bad game, like this season he wasn't very good, and then he was hurt, and I think people love to jump on the pile immediately. It's kind of similar to Goff in the way that like his head coach doesn't seem to be completely married to him. Like it doesn't seem like Shanahan is fighting to be like, no, nah, this guy's really good. Like, nah, he probably is fine. You hear him in the Niners and like Wentz trade rumors and Stafford trade rumors. Like I think Shanahan would sleep fine at night if they got rid of Jimmy G. But a lot of it's like I feel like the kid has talent. He's been hurt. He's been inconsistent this year, and I feel like those two things go hand in hand. I think he gets one more chance, right? I mean, they did unless they find another QB, unless they get Darnold. Maybe that's a spot for Darnold in the Bay.
Yeah, I think he deserves, even if it's not there, he deserves another chance. He's not been bad enough to not be to be benched forever or to become a career backup.
Speaking of one throw away, right?
Yeah.
Super Bowl victory.
Speaking of a quarterback who has been bad enough to be benched forever, is Cam Newton cooked?
I mean, if Bill Belichick can't make you look good, maybe he might be. I mean, did he take a year off? Was it an entire year off?
Damn near, yeah. This was his first year back. He had been hurt.
Yeah, I mean, that usually isn't good for a professional athlete. I think a lot of times once you take that year off, you kind of, I mean, unless you're Rob Gronkowski apparently and eating a ton of CBD every day. I mean, it was just weird how inaccurate he was. Like if he was okay if he was throwing accurate passes and maybe just didn't look as athletic, but like you said, it's throwing ground balls, or as my dad used to exclaim, the McNabb special. That could be wrong. That's just a memory I have. Hate me or love me. But he was throwing bounce passes all year, and you can't be that in a modern NFL offense.
Yeah, no, bounce passes are reserved for basketball.